the TEA. I participated in both the individual reviews in May and the panel reviews in July. In that regard, I have a few comments about the process. First, the time frame of 2 weeks was just too short for the first individual virtual reviews. I learned in July that many did not complete their reviews until over a month after the due date, and many never even did them at all. So in July, we had a very large task to complete reviews never started or finished and compile final reviews from the completed ones that we finished up on. Second, there was confusion about where we were supposed to indicate how we believed a particular TEACS was not addressed. We were required to enter the ISBN manually for all the TEACS breakouts, the page numbers, the section subheadings, and how the TEACS was reviewed secondarily. I found it to be very intensive time for all 226 TEACS. And third, while I knew my reviews would be available to the public, I was under the impression that my association with any particular review or comment would not be released. When certain reviews were made public, I was surprised to see my name on them. As a result, because of the rather ambiguous language of the no contact rule, I learned a little too late that I was unable to defend my own now published comments. While I would be glad to participate again, there needs to be some review of the process and a clarification of procedures and expectations. In general, I would like to point out that dissatisfaction with the neo-Darwinian evolution is not in any way limited to some imagined, religiously motivated, uneducated minority. As one small example, I offer this book for you today called Mind and Cosmos, Why the Materialist Neo-Darwinian Conception of Nature is Almost Certainly False, by Thomas Nagel from Oxford University Press. Nagel is a university professor in philosophy from New York University, and he is convinced, even though he's an atheist, that the materialistic evolutionary story can't answer important questions about mind, evolution, and the origin of life, specifically the origin of the genetic code.
Okay, questions for Dr. Bohlin? Mr. Mercer and Ms. Miller?
Just one question. So, I've had this question several times. Because you doubt evolution, does that make you creationist? I think you're saying no.
Not at all.
The premise I've heard over and over, if you have a question, you want to raise your hand, you have a concern about the fossil record policy, you must be a Christian creationist. And that's not a true statement, is it?
Well, it seems to be how some people respond to that, yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Miller?
I want to thank you for coming forward and sharing your concern over this process. Apparently in the last, I guess, 2 years, when House Bill 6, right?
Senate Bill 6, right.
Changed, regretfully, changed our wonderful process of how we reviewed many things, but books. And then, of course, with the move toward technology, no longer not the traditional print that we
Right.
would have, and the books would be at the Region Service Center to check out, and things like that. I'm just being brought up to speed over what happened. So I think your observation is a good constructive criticism.
Is he for against evolution?
He's against it.
He's against evolution.
He's a creationist. He is a creationist.